and it opens your system. So it opens this to you, and I'll be creating a folder on my page, that's on my desktop. So I'll create a new folder called mern. So, and select this folder and select the folder. Now that's why I love using VS Code. So VS Code is so not so complicated. It comes with a lot of easy navigations, like the open folder like this. When it's so, VS Code will let you understand that the security breach, and if you authorize this person to access your files, and if you trust the user or the person accessing this VS Code with this folder, you can, yes, I trust the others. Or if you don't, then so I click on yes, I trust that person. And the next thing to do is working now, coding. I can say code. I know we've waited for so long, and it is worth it, because you can just start rate the coding if you don't have all these packages installed. If you don't have all these packages installed, you cannot even start. It's not even possible to start that way. So first you have to get the packages installed before you can do your little coding for today. So without much further ado, let's go to the terminal. How can we go to the terminal? It's very easy. So we can go to our terminal by clicking on the three dotted line here, and just go to our terminal, new terminal. That's Control Shift this, which is quite easy. So I just select this terminal, and it opens this terminal to me. Okay, so this is the terminal being opened. And now, so the first thing to do is creating our subfolders. That is the backend. We have the flask. These are the two main things that we're going to use. So today we're working on the backend service only. We are doing something back. I want to understand. You see, the main programming comes with the backend. The backend is so important. The front end is just showing you how beautification is working, and also how to have access to our APIs and show them in some logical way. So let's go to our main stack. So this one, you see, one thing about VS Code, so when you hover on the main, it creates this new file, this new folder. You just click on new folder, and best practices, we have the back end, the back end. We create a back end, and also we have what the flask. Let me say flask API. Good. When you're done, now you go to the backend, and you create something called servers, which is important. Server.js, because working in JavaScript. And on the flask, you create a flask API py, which is Python. Now we have these two programming, so these two files created. Good. So the next move is to install the packages that we see the importance of installing or having the packages being installed in a system. So if you don't have the package being installed in a system, it's going to be very difficult to even work or even start. It's quite difficult. So just click on this split editor, which splits our VS Code into two, so that we can install on the JavaScript side, and also install on the Python side. Now, so let's have access to the backend. So let's cd, that's change directory to the backend, and change directory to the backend. Good. Now, once the directory is being changed, let's do same for the flask. flask cd, sorry, cd, come on, cd flask API. So the terminal accepts all lowercase provided whatever input is matching. Yeah, so if the input flask API small letter, it just terminal accepts lowercase, so it navigate there. Then on our back end, what are you going to install? We're going to install packages here. First, you'll be installing the course. That is going to give us access to listening to a different service on different platforms or from different endpoints. We also install MongoDB. It's going to have access to our database. We are not going to use MongoDB now, but it's quite important for us to install MongoDB. We install something called Mongoose, which is a middleware for MongoDB. This Mongoose help we to have some CRUD operations very easy. We can perform them very easy with Mongoose, and also it helps me to create routers very easy. We have the Express, which is the most important, the middleware of Node.js that help me to create this backend server side thing, and we have a lot of them. So let's start with the installation. But before we start with the installation, we have to init a JSON format, or you have to init a JSON format like a package, a repo, so that whenever we have all these dependencies installed, we see them reflect there. So the first thing to do is npm, which is the node package. So whenever you want to install something, whenever you want to work with Node.js, JavaScript, like this backend server side something or package, you just have to do npm with the node package manager. And because you are starting with the interface, you just say init and y. So this creates a package JSON format, a default something that have access to yes. So you don't have to go through all these markdowns by clicking. So it creates it very fast for you, and when it's done, okay, once the JSON packet is done, we see this new packages in format created, which have a script. The test that is quite important here, you get the understanding. So let's CLS and clear everything, and now install the packages for the backend with the MongoDB or the main stack. So first package, as I said, npm install, then write a package name Express. So Express is EXPRESS. So this is the middleware as explained, and we have the course, we have the body parser, we have the .env, we have the node mon, we have the mongo db, or the mongoose, and these are the packages you're using for this project. So just click on the enter once you get a name, and okay, once you install all these packages, you get a notification that we have added 177 packages. Some are needing audited. Just ignore these are normal responses that you get whenever you install a package. Like the fan, some of the Node.js packages need some refunding. So you see, on our packages, and now we have all these dependencies here. We have the body parser, we have the course, we have the .env, we have the Express, MongoDB, Mongoose, NodeMon. Good. Now we have all this. Now that we have all these packages installed, let's do this. So we want our system to be very fast. We want our system to run as write code, right? So you want a system that whenever you type something, the system to start reading. So that is where we use node-mon. So node-mon help you to restart the program whenever you save a content or whenever you start editing in the area specified. It starts saving or start running the program until it comes to a completion or until you cancel or stop the node-mon. So how does node-mon work? To enable node-mon to work, what you do is on the start side, so on this package JSON, you just have to locate your scripts, and beneath your script there's keys that you have the text key, you have the start key, and these are so you have the key value pairs, right? So this object, so there's an object and you have the key value pair, right? So this text is a key and this is the value to this key. This start is the key and this is the value. Locate the key starts, that is the start, and go to node-mon, go to the value. Now when I go to the value, you see that it's starting from node server.js. That's node server.js. This server, the name that we gave it to, the name that we gave to the backend, this is the site is running the program. So you want to use node-mon, what you have to do is write node-mon, and that is it. Now our server starts running anytime we save or we start updating the server side program, and that is for the backend. Now let's do same for the flask API, that's the Python side. So since you've already navigated to the flask API directory, what you have to do is what? Install the packages there, right? Now you see, when it comes to the Anaconda, so the flask or the machine learning methods, the Pythons uses what? Anaconda package, but the Node.js uses what? JavaScript. So the Node.js is just a JavaScript server side, that's external library. I have a lot of packages that you can install. So all these are packages, their dependencies, they are libraries, so you can call them libraries, packages, dependencies. It all mean the same thing. Now, so that we have all these things set up. Now to install a package in Python, what you write is conda or pip. So you write conda, or better still write pip. Good. So the popular one that most programming use is pip, that is pip. Then write the install, then the name, what are we installing, what is the project standards. We are needing flask, and what a flask course, CORS. You see, we installed calls from the server side, also install calls here. The calls is so important when it comes to listening to ports. It's very, very important. So install calls. So these are the two packages that we need in the flask. So just click on enter and it starts installing. So once all these packages for the flask API is being installed, we get this responses from the terminal, that is the requirements already satisfied, or this. So you can see the flask has been installed. So we want to work one way, so we're working on the servers, that's the main stack, then we come to the flask. So let's split the code. So you just click on the flask and split flask this way, then you can cancel flask from here, you can cancel flask from this side, then that's good. You're good to go. Then to to remove this view, that's the folder view, We just do Control B and everything goes off. Now you can focus on the project this way and go to your server side. Good. That's it. But before we start, we need some understanding of MongoDB because you're not working MongoDB. So how can we do MongoDB? Even though MongoDB is not useful in this project, we need to set up a database so that in future, when we want to have access to or want to save some records, it's easily for us to just go to the database and do whatever because we have everything set up. So let's click on this border and go to the backend, click on the backend and create a new folder. So a new folder, best practice, this is creating a DB connection, right? A DB connection. Click enter. Then create a db.js. So easy. Now, once you create this file, all you have to do is to navigate, go to your website, go to the MongoDB website. When you have already set up for sign up for MongoDB, you get the dashboard and follow the steps. So once you set up for the MongoDB, you can follow these steps to get a predefined code that will make your life very easy, and you don't need to memorize all these codes. You just have to copy them and come and paste them whenever you need them and focus on the most important part. So we go to our browser and this is my MongoDB setup. I'll click on connect. So once it's set up, you click on connect, and when you click on connect, it's so once you click on connect, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get an interface like this. You have connect your how to connect your application, how to connect your cluster. So by default, the name of your cluster or your schema or your database is called cluster O, right? Cluster 0. Now you want to connect to cluster 0. So what you do is click on drivers because you're using Node.js. You can see that access at last using MongoDB native drivers. You can use them by Compass, you can use them by Shell. If you have the JavaScript command line interface installed on VS Code, you can use MongoDB VS Code on your VS Code, which is quite easy. You can use Atlas SQL if you have you are working with data science. You can just use this way. So our preferred one is using the Node.js because you're writing JavaScript code directly, native one for the drivers. So you click on this and it's navigate to choose a connection method, and choosing a connection method, you have the Node.js already there. You have 5.5 or later. So pertaining to the Node.js that you installed, if it's a 2.0, 20.0, you just have to select it, or better still keep this defined because all later it means every update 5 or later anyone. Then all you have to do is to install this one, which we are already done with. We installed npm install Mongo. We did for Mongos as well. And once you reach here, add your connection string to your application code. Is very easy. So all you have to do is click on view full code, and once the full code is being viewed, you just click on copy. It copies the code and you click on done, finish. So it brings everything back to default and locates your MongoDB. So you are back here. You just copy and paste all the codes here. So this is the code we copied, and there's a shortcut to let everything in view. So let's first Control B to remove this and Alt plus Z to bring everything to view to understand the code very well. So what is this code trying to do? So this code is doing nothing else but just allowing we to have a direct connection to our database using JavaScript, using Node.js, using a framework, using something called MongoDB, a library, a package called MongoDB. This is going to help you to connect directly to our website, our sign up MongoDB. Good. Now that we have everything here, all this code here, you just have to create a URL which is a custom. This URL is custom for every MongoDB user. We create a Mongo client which with the client's options like the server side. So the deprecations error, let's say MongoDB have done a little updates on your previous copied code or previous MongoDB installed that you're working on. If there is a depreciation error, like the update is a little behind the current one, then we are going to get this error and it's going to trigger, right? It's going to trigger and re-update your MongoDB to a better one. So that is the main motive of the deprecations error. You have the async, and you know Node.js, once I explained, Node.js is what asynchronous is. Asynchronous is non-blocking. It allows us to write multiple tags to clients and also connect to different endpoints or servers without running them like concurrently. We just write them simultaneously anyhow by using the asynchronous. That is a wait method. It's going to wait for a little while. So this asynchronous function, async function run, try and catch error and find it. So you have the try and you have the finally here. So what a try error is doing that is it we should await this client. You should check if there is any deprecations error. You should first connect to our database. So when you connect to our database and we get access to our database, we should check that if this version that we have in this Mongo version that we are having has no deprecation error. If it has no deprecations error, then we can proceed. We can connect. We can await and connect them. Or if it has, then it throws this error that okay, close. We close it for the first time and rerun. So it's rerun the program and it's force install the MongoDB with the latest one, and on the second run it goes through, it connects. So it connects to your client or server optional starting at this, then ping this one to the confirmation successful connection, and when the connection is successful, then it's connects automatically to your admin page. So since you are admin, it connects you, and there's a command called ping one, like a confirmation that okay, it's true, then successfully. And finally we upgrade and close the chain because we don't want people to have access when we are done. So this is it. Now that we have this, the next step is to import our DB to our server side, because we're running the code on the server side. We want everything to be on the server side, so you have to export this file to our server side. But to export a file to a server side, what we do is first we have to create a function. So constant call, let's say a function called db, then equal to, we put a question mark, and so there's a way of creating a function, arrow function. So by creating this arrow function, we can just copy all these codes to the last one, Control X and Control V. Then when we are done, all you have to do is come here, then do model dot exports and equal to what the db, the function that we have. We can't just export a file directly. We export functions, and you know that this function is containing of what the MongoDB, the connection successful, and whatever. Now that we have all this function, what we can do here is constant, then use our function, our server, right? So db is equal to require db require. So you have to direct locate to the path. So one step back, So one step back, then go to our MongoDB connection, then we go to JS. So what this means is when we control and click on this, it sends we to the DB.js that we created. So it means you've exported this file and given it this name. That okay, the name now of this file location should be DB. So whenever we call DB, it's have access to this file location. Good. So now that we are done with this, we start with a server. You have to create a simple server, not complicated one, because the main purpose is to learn about the integration of all these two frameworks. That is the server, the Express, and also the Flask. So first thing that we do is constant. We have to export. So we start off. So we export our packages. So we export our packages. How do you export your packages? So constant, the normal process. How we exported this. So let's export this package called Express. So I'm wondering where from this Express. So the Express is coming from whatever dependency we installed. You see, whenever we installed the npm installed, when we did it here, it installed this Express package. It installed this Express package. Good. So we can have access to this package and we give it a name called Express. So that is the thing. Then what's the next move? Install course, do same for course. We require an course. We do same for body parser. So camel case, we require body parser. Good. Now after installing or after requiring all our packages or using our packages with initial assignments, what we do is to create the aspect. Aspect is the most important. It's the middleware. This is going to create our endpoint. This is going to create or whatever we need. So let's say create an app and pass the Express to it. So what does it mean? So first create an app, so the constant name called app, then we pass the Express, everything in the Express to it. So everything in the Express now belongs to the app, right? So it's been initialized to this app. Now after creating this app, the next move is what? Is to use some app, use whatever you are doing. Once you use this course, once you use this body parser, once you use this Express to in the app. So the next one is, sorry, I'm going to use this, use or imported packages, imported packages into our app. So the first one that we use app use express dot json. Why JSON? The reason why I use JSON is because JSON, whenever I'm testing for these APIs, right, you want something that is going to be readable. You don't want a content type, or maybe you don't want headers. We don't want something complicated. We want something that Express and the user can easily understand. Even though you can understand in headers and different concepts, it's quite easier for us to understand in JSON format. Now, after using this Express, we also use express dot URL encoder and extend that to true. So the benefits of using this URL encoder is, in a case we have a lot of APIs, a lot of endpoints created. The Express cannot singly focus on one API, right? So we use a URL encoder to understand the broadcast. Whenever the APIs are many, the Express have to do what the Express have to do is identify, okay, this is API, and only passes that body, only looks at request where the content type matches the type of option. So where the request type matches what the type of options. Now that we have passed this, now we can also use this one for the same case. So all you have to do is body parser dot json, the same process, and app use forward body parser dot URL encoder, then extended to go true. So the next one is what course. You have used for the body parser, which is for Express. Now you have to use for the course. Now you see the course usage is quite different, because course is what's going to allow localhost to communicate if it's even HTTPS to even communicate. So this is what the course do. The course allows me to pass all these contents, understanding is like understand between all these localhosts or servers being passed on. So the first thing that we need is the origin. Since I'm not working in front end, it's quite irrelevant, but it's good if it's set up so that when we go to the front end, we get understanding about it. So this is the localhost 513, and this is what HTTP we are running on, not a protected one. HTTP /localhost 513, and we have the methods there. And which methods are using? We are using post method, we are using get method, we are using, okay, we're using only two methods here right now. So we're using only two methods here, and after everything we go to credentials. We want our request to be so secured. That's why we use credentials, personal credentials. When it goes to the upper level, you understand the use of credentials. Now that you have this, what's the next move? The next move is to create HTTP server and listing supports. So that's it. So the next move is for creating HTTP server and listing support. So Node.js have a predefined or built HTTP servers that we can call like a library that we can. So we don't need to go and do npm install HTTP. So we can just require this HTTP and require from Node.js, because it comes from Node, is already defined. So HTTP, then so it creates, now it creates a server and pass the HTTP server clients to it. It's not that complicated. So create something called server, then password http dot create server. This, we are creating a server, and this server should have options, right? The server should have options. Where the server options is the app. What the app is listening to, have lots of things there. We have the methods. So the server is listening to what? The method there is listening to something readable, like readable that is JSON, we have the body parser. All these are in the app, so we can just pass it to the server. Then once server is created, we listen to the port. Finish. So the next move is what? Server dot listing towards port. So the port is, so let me do the best practices way. So let's first create the port here, constant for PORT, then name of port with 5000. Now we can just pass our port here, and once we are listening to a port, when the port is successful, what we want to do is to show some response that okay, this server is connected, this student is connected, and it's valid. So passing some arrow function, just console log, server is running successfully on port. So server is running successfully on this port. Good. So this is how to set up a database, set up a server side. It's quite easy. It's quite so easy. And one thing you have to do here is, for now, since you're not using the database now, you have to hold on for the database. So just control question mark to comment it out, and we come and listen to our server and see our server is running on this port. So since you are using node mon, here to run our server, yes, whatever you do, some updates, it runs very good. So this is the required express. We did this. It's so easy. It's so easy. So node mon, what you just have to locate your backend, write node mon. Right, node mon. So node mon server. So node mon start. We go to start, but since you are using a start, there's an easy way. npm run starts. Yeah, npm, you have created a package, you want to run starts. So when I click on starts, it listens to this server side, this server. So once we write the npm run starts, listen to the backend, listen to the server side that we set node mon on. So node mon server.js, then the server is running successfully on port 5000. That this is the port that we set 5000. But the best practices, we don't expose our ports, because somebody can just have access to our port and have access to our endpoint very easy. It's very, very easy to do that. So this is where we use something called .env. So the .env is one of the best practices that I'll do today. So what a .env does is, the .env kind of isolates all your most important, being the test key, being the API key, being the port, being the MongoDB server running. So basically this is what the .key does. So how can we use the .key? The .key is very easily, like just create a file. So either you do Control B or just click on this explorer, shit. Now once you click on it, just come to your backend and create a file. You save your file called .env. Save your file and read .env. Don't write your file name, just save your file .env. Then click enter. It creates this new file for you, like a new file editor for you. And what are the ports that you want, or the most important available parts of the program that you need. This is the port, just right there. And where do you want your port? Your port to be 5,000. Right, good. Now you want your port to be 5,000. You just go to the service, and instead of using directly this port 5,000, you do it in a different way. Like the best part is this. So right below your app.js, you come here and just require the .env. So require .env file .configure. So once you run this code, it's easy. It's so easy. All you have to do is, you see that the server is running because I run normal, and all you do, control this, and I'll get some errors. Now we don't want the port to 5,000. We don't want like to expose the port on the server side, but this JavaScript can be accessed. So what you do is come to this side, right? Process dot env dot the port. The name that I gave to the port, the name was what port. So this is the name. This is the port. This is the name. Good. Port. So once you do this and run the program, you can see that first it was failing because the port was not known, but after several times, 15 seconds, okay, port is not defined, process the port, this one is not defined, so you have to do this. So process.env.port, and everything will find now. So our node one is running, it should run, it must run on port 5,000, like what we're doing first. Good. So this is the best practices. This is how we run our ports, not expose our port to the front and all the people who have access to the code, right? So after everything, we now have to integrate a MongoDB into our, it's quite easy. So like the way we did this, the port, just copy this, Control X. So copy this URL that you get from your MongoDB, and once you copy this, once you copy, all you have to do is come here and paste. So this URL is been pasted here, and this URL is important. It's very important because this is where your MongoDB is going to know that I'm communicating with this specific admin, this specific user. So in your creation of the MongoDB, you set a DB username. So my DB username is name. Small like this. Alright, good. And now that we have this, I have to set a password. Now for security reasons, I'll not let you see the password. I'll just speed up the video so that you will get my password. So what you do is db underscore. You can name it anything, but the name should make sense. The name should be like something logical. So this is the post name. So db and just remove this name. And as I said, so when you are done, all you have to do is just come to password and get everything and write a password here. So once you enter a password, your valid password for your MongoDB is very important for your username. So when you create a MongoDB, you have a username, you have your password. So whenever you get this 2 details, you are good to go. So once you have everything installed, then all you have to do is come to this side, and on this side you require bb underscore. So the name is the process, whenever it says something, it says something in your env, so process.env dot db underscore uri. Good. So it is the name, and everything is good. Now we can have access to our database. So our database, you can uncomment it, and right below the server, once the server is connected, just call your db. So I do call it, just write db call like that, and everything should run perfectly. So you can see from this side, bringing your development source successfully connected to MongoDB. Good. We are very close to our first API, or navigating or integrating our flask API to our server side.